Hi everyone, Jeff Phillips here, owner of Phillips Repair. Just a little background on me. I'm a master certified technician, RVIA, RVTI. I've been in the RV industry for 37 years, not just in the industry, but in the service side of the RV industry. I own Phillips Repair, and today I wanted to just give you a quick go through on a water heater that I have a customer in here that's having some issues with it. His complaint is it's not working on electric. So I've got it prepped and drained, but I'm going to give you guys the walkthrough on what we're going to do to see why it's not working on 110. Of course, you're going to want to drain it to start with, and on this particular water heater right here, it's a Suburban, and it has a 1 1/16 inch plug that's in the bottom of the water heater right here. Of course, if I hadn't already drained it, this would be lots of water coming out. So we're going to take the drain plug out, which is also the anode rod. Now I know that looks terrible, but that is just the beginning of this rod doing what it's supposed to do. These are cast iron ceramic lined water heaters. Atwoods are aluminum tanks. These are like your home tank. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change this one, but if you pull your anode rod out and it looks like this, it's still good for another season. What you'll look at, if you look in the very end of it, you see this small little center on there? That is the main rod that comes back and connects to this. This built up layer right here is zinc and magnesium, which counteracts corrosion inside of your hot water heater. When it's about the size of a pencil, that's when it's time to replace it. So we'll move on from that part. Your T&P valve up at the top, when you get ready to drain it and you take your plug out, first and foremost, make sure there's no water pressure on it. You've opened your faucets inside and let the pressure off, or you'll get a nice bath as soon as that plug comes out. Open your T&P valve, it will vent it and let the water come out quickly. If you're doing this inside, have enough buckets here to catch whatever capacity your water heater is. This particular one's 10 gallons. A lot of it's on the floor right now because I missed too. So right behind here is where our electric element is for our water heater. What we're going to do is I've already pre-loosened everything to make the video go a little smoother. But you'll come in here and you'll take this piece off right here, which is the little gas tube that comes from the gas valve and goes to the burner. So we'll remove this. Now, if yours hasn't ever been removed before, you need to be very careful about taking these loose because these little aluminum tubes tend to want to get seized up. So you need to make sure that the nut's turning and it's not twisting the tube. If you twist that tube and pinch it off, or you crack it and make it leak, then you've got an unsafe situation. This one I replaced just a couple of years ago, so this tube is moving freely and it's going to come out just fine. These are available on Amazon. Makes it easy. You don't have to go to a dealership and pay big prices to get this little $7 part. So we'll get this little tube out of our way. Then right up under the burner right here, there's another 7/16 nut that I've already taken loose. And this will allow us to move this burner out of the way and give us better access. Pull it up, pull it out of the way. All right. So right in behind that little black cover right there is where our element is. So we're going to take this cover. Now mind you, if the switch is on, all this down here is hot. So you need to be cautious. I would advise you to unplug your unit while you're working in here, unless you want to find out what electricity feels like. All right. So what we're looking at here is the back of the heating element. This is what you're seeing right now. So we'll take it out in a moment, but I want to show you how to diagnose to know if your element's actually bad or not. So what we're going to check for is, do we have that 110 volt voltage coming down here to this element? So what we're checking for is voltage here. At the moment, I don't have any voltage. Now, on the older Suburbans, they've got the outside switch right here. I've got the inside switch turned on, so we'll turn on the outside switch. We're going to check right here. And if you see, I have house voltage right there, 121 volts. So that tells me that there's voltage here, but whenever we're turning on the water heater, it's not heating on 110. So the most likely case is that this got what's called dry fired. And it's really common when people have winterized them and they go to use their unit, they put water in, but they don't wait for the water heater to fill up, or they forgot to unbypass it to where it lets water into the tank. These elements will run indefinitely if they're submerged in water. But if they are not submerged in water, to help cool them, they're going to almost immediately, within 30 to 40 seconds, they're going to blow out, and then they'll no longer heat because they're meant to be a submerged device. So we're going to make sure that we're turned off, and then we're going to take this element out. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these two terminals loose. Ring connectors. All right, now here's the part that you're gonna have to have an element socket. This style right here, you can get at Home Depot, Lowe's, anywhere. There is another one that fits the ratchet, which is much more convenient, but I wanted to show you what you most likely are gonna buy. So we put this on this element right here, and we find to get it locked on there. Okay, let me get it loose now. All right, this is obviously a dry fire. If you look really closely right here, you see where that's blown out. The internal heating element that's inside of here is now separated, and it will no longer heat because it can't. But there's your obvious signs of blowout. Now, if you pull one out and it's just crusty like this, well, that's just the minerals in the water getting on the heating element. But what you're looking for is any point that this little outer case around this heating element is broken. And this one is. So we will put a new heating element in here. Get the old sealant out of the threads. Got a new heating element here. Now what I like to do, and it helps us from not getting leaks around the gasket, because you don't put thread sealant around this. it relies on this rubber gasket right here to seal. So I take a little bit of silicone grease and just wipe it around the washer itself, which helps it seat better. Then you line your element up, you find the threads,